Hello. I want us to continue with our chapter 4. We will start with 4.3, which is the operational strategy or the production strategy, depending on what you're dealing with. And we said that here we are looking at our stock for the people in product, and for the people that are offering services, you're looking at the things that are helping you um, achieve the service that you intend to do. And we looked at the two sides of it. An example of the one that are doing the service, we looked at the things that might help in the doing the service, like the drills, the cordless screwdriver, and the grinders, all those things that are going to help you in doing the service. So you put them there. And for the people that are doing the product now, we say that you write the products themselves. That is your stock now in the first column. Then the next column is said on the frequency required is on the product, on how often are you going to be buying this product. And we say that the people that are in the service, it's easier or it's better when you talk of yearly, since that you already have those items, and if it's a screwdriver, it will take you a longer period before you need another one, unless now you want to employ somebody else, and then you might buy for that person. But for the people that are in the products, um, you can talk of the frequency of monthly. So let me talk of this one, where you can be buying monthly. That is now buying from your supplier, buying from the person that is selling to you. You can talk of buying monthly, so that now it will not cost you too much to be buying daily, weekly, and we need to reduce on the costings. Then the next thing we are looking at is the source. That is now the supply themselves. These things, where are you buying them from? You write the person you are buying them from here. And then how many units? If you are if you are selling those are detergents, those are disinfectants, those MRI, those TVs, radios. How many do you need? You write the number there. If you have technicians, you write the numbers here. The number that you need. That is now your stock. How many do you need in your shop? If you have technicians and you're doing service, for the services that you are doing, how many screwdrivers do you need? Maybe you have the technicians, and you're also doing the installations and the repairs and the like. So you might need three, you and four, the technicians, and maybe a spare one just in case something happens to the other one. So you write the numbers that you need. Then the next thing is the cost. How much are you buying them at? The cost. How much are you buying them at? If it is your product, how much are you buying your product at? That is the buying price from the supplier. You write the amount there. Then the last column is now a multiplication of this figure times this figure. Depending on if you had one, then it will be a repeat of the same figure. But if you have many like these ones, then you will have to multiply this figure times this figure to get the total cost. For the same for the people that are doing service, if it's a drill that you have bought, like now an example of this one, all of them, they have two. So you write the two, that is the numbers, the quantity, and then the cost, how much did you buy them at, and then the total, which is this times this, you get this column. So I hope we are going on well. Then the next part we need to look at on 4.3 is on the total production or operational labor per month. This one is the total salaries that you're paying your people. We don't necessarily have to. You will pick the figure from our chapter 3 and put it there. And then the other thing that we look at is the preliminary operational and production expenses. These are the expenses now you incur when once you start your business. And these expenses, we are looking at the insurance, consultation, renovations. Remember, you found an empty place if it was empty. The licenses, all those expenses that you incur. That is the next table that we need to look at. And it looks like this. Let me just close the lower part so that it cannot distract us. So there is the renovations, there is a consultancy fee, there is licenses and permits, and there is the insurance. Licenses and permits, already you have the figures with you. What you might not be having is the insurance, but now this one depends with the insurance that you are taking. This and fire, is it theft, whichever damages, whichever insurance that you pick, you put there the total figure there. Innovations, how much is it going to cost you to make the business look the way you want. Consultation, there are people who say they do not have any experience. So how much is it going to cost you for the first time for people to advise you and guide you in the best way possible? Yeah, licenses and permits, you already have the figures. Then after that, the next thing we look at is the overheads. Overheads, these are expenses the small expenses that we incur monthly. And the overheads that we are looking at here is the rent, electricity, telephone, water bills, maintenance. So we want to see an approximation of those expenses. Still, you do them in form of a table. Please, if unless we have mentioned that you don't need a table, if when it needs where it is needed a table, it is a table. So like this one now, the overheads, you write the overheads here and the amount. So the first overhead is rent. Basically, if you're paying rent for the people that are in their own compounds, then they do not need the rent. Then you have the electricity, that is the power bills. There is the water bills. There is the telephone cost. We have also mentioned of maintenance, where now maybe a shelf broke or maybe just something happened. Those small repairs and maintenances. How much does it cost on monthly basis? Remember, we are doing assumptions so that it will be easier for us to be able to do an approximation of our expenses. Then the other one we look at is the volumes that we expect to make per month. And this calculation, we are doing it from the table that we have already done, the one we talked of the expense, the stock. So we want to see on what we are selling per month. Remember, we did a calculation of the units that we are selling per month in our chapter 2. So now we want to see those items as per the items and the costings, how much we are selling them at and how many. So remember, we had the items, the units sold. Now we want to add the selling price and the total. So basically, you will use the previous tables. And an example and something else to mention is that you don't have to mention all the things that are in your stock, because you might not have sold all the items in the stock. So you can just sample the items that might be sold within the stock, and then how many are you selling within that stock, and then at what price. Please note we had already mentioned on our prices, so you use the selling prices that you mentioned, and then you get the total for the same. Let me use an example of this one. So this one is selling solars, 30 of them at 7,000. That is 10,000. Let's see how much this one is enjoying us, because already I can see already he had 15 at 6,500. So the price might be okay, but the quantity is different, because now all else he has combined the two of them, but you should separate them. If it is the first one, so I'm expecting that maybe it's this one at the 15 of them. You can sell all of them, or you can sell and give maybe 5, 3, depending on how the business was. Then remember, this is the price that you bought at. So this one is selling bought at 6,500, is selling at 7,000. So at least he's making a profit of 500. Then there is inverters. You write how much you have on this side, and then how much have you sold on this other side. If you had 30, you might sell 28, 20. Then at what price, and then the total figures. For the people that are in sales, in service, you write the service itself. Then how many have you done? Then what cost, and then the total. I hope I'm getting it. This one I mentioned it previously, and I said the one that she has done well is the lower part, where she's showing that she's doing 10 solar panel maintenances and 2 solar connections. These ones, they are not specified on how many. You should mention on how many, because now how is she able to get this figure? Because you're not able to multiply the two of them. So you give the actual figures on how many services that you've done for the same. For the products, make sure that what you have mentioned in this table corresponds to what is in your stock. And you're looking at the numbers, make sure that they are less or equal to the previous table. Don't make them in this part to be more, because it shows that you are even selling things for your neighbors. So that's it. The other one is 4.4. 4.4 is production or operational process. Production or operational process. This now is we were looking at what we are looking at 4.1 on the summary, or the overview of the whole process. This now we want to have it step by step. So if you have, the first step is ordering from your supplier. So you say you inquire on the products that are available from the supplier and how they can reach you, and you give the quantities that you need, and you agree on the prices. Then the next step, that is step 2, you get a delivery. So step 2 is delivery, where the things are delivered to your premise. Then step 3, now you receive the products, confirm that they as per your specifications, confirm the quality is as per expected, confirm the quantity, and the likes. That is step 3. Step 4 is the storage. Sorry, where now you put them, some in the shelves, some in the store. Then the next step, which is step 4, is advertising, where now you market your products so that customers can come and buy from you. Then the next step is now customer inquiries, where customer comes, inquires about the products, and you agree on the products and the likes. Then the next step is uh, packaging and payment, where now you customers pay for the products and you package them as per the specifications, and then you release the customer. So that is a step-by-step process. When it comes to the service, now you give the actual services as per expectations. Maybe where we mentioned on the site visit, you mentioned on how you send the technicians to look at the site, whether it is viable, whether the location is far, where the customer wants, maybe the likes of an example of the solar installation, where it will, where the customer wants the solar panel to be placed is it will be convenient even to get the right raise. If it is repairs of the machines, the machine that you've been called to do a repair on, does it have spare parts? Does it are they locally available, the spare parts? That is now when you go for site visits, those are some of the things that you need to look at. Then after there, now you once you've done a site visit, the next thing can be a quotation, where now you explain on how you're going to do your quotation. Then from there you agree on the customer and the job starts. Once you've done the repair, the maintenance, the next thing is now where you the customer confirms whether it is per the expectations of the service that you are rendering to them. Maybe they can do a test on the same, depending on what you are doing for them. Then from there, now they make payment, and you get a closure on the same. Then the last one is 4.5. 4.5, where we are looking at the government regulations affecting operations. Government regulations affecting operations. This one we have mentioned before because we have mentioned on the licenses and permits. It is the same thing that you want to look at. And basically, the first part we look at in form of a table. This table we have drawn before for the people who have drawn the table. And so we want to look at the licenses and the permits that are needed. So this one is talking of the trading license, environmental license. This medical cover, I don't know which license is that. I'm thinking maybe it's the health permit that they are talking about. Then we mentioned on the source where you are getting them from. Is it the county government? It is NEMA, and then the costing of the same. So that's it for chapter 4, and I'm very glad that we have gotten to this part. And for the government regulations, unless you have other taxes that you're paying, like withholding tax, that is maybe something that you can add to it. But if you don't have any other permits or any other regulations that you are needed to have, then that's it. So I really appreciate your time, and enjoy yourselves. We will meet next time for chapter 5.